So it seems like Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is learning from its predecessor that was Boruto, because they are no longer waiting to, drop that action. They are just going back to back with it. And this chapter has got me super hyped. Revelations that I think we've all been kind of waiting for, all been kind of speculating on, have kind of been slightly confirmed in this chapter. I'm still a little confused on what's going on here, but I'm still very excited to see what this is going to lead to. And if my calculations are correct, you guys should be getting this around the same time it's coming out, or close enough to it. So I'm getting better, guys, because my God has this week been trying. I worked damn near 60 hours this week, so trying to make content has been like just a no-go. I've been super tired, almost falling over while recording, so hopefully this comes out around the same time as chapter release. But make sure you guys like and subscribe, help the boy out, because, I'm working my hardest. It's just me chugging along. And let's get to talking about today's chapter. So this chapter opens up with the tail end of last week's chapter, with Boruto finishing up his fight with Mitsuki. And we see that Ada was watching the battle the whole time, and she kind of gets the gist of everything that happened during the fight. And it low-key seems like the girl Ada is starting to feel the boy Boruto after the new drip and new swag he's got pulled up. But Kawaki's got no time for her swooning right now, because he's just like, yo, quit standing around, we gotta go track Mitsuki down. Because he's not aware that she can actually see this, or that she's watching this right now. I'm not sure how much of the Senrigan abilities he's aware of, or how often she's using it, but it's pretty much all the time. But speaking of the Senrigan, Delta's also here, and she's still under the Senrigan control because she's getting pissed at Kawaki for talking disrespectfully to Ada. But weirdly enough, Damon is just kind of chilling there, and Damon has been shown to get active anytime anyone disrespects his sister, but right now he's kind of chilling there with someone who has that Dr. Seuss on him, so I don't know what's up with him. But regardless, Kawaki just doubles down with I don't care how you feel, get mad, as Ada just gives him the locations and they just get to moving, which, I don't know, I wouldn't take that level of disrespect. But either way, Kawaki and Delta get to moving, as Delta looks at Ada and then tells her that she's heading off and, to be safe more or less. And they head out, and as they're on their trail, which they are moving hot to get to Boruto's location, she straight up tells Kawaki that, once Ada's done with you, I'm going to drop you. And Kawaki's just like, whatever, I'm going to drop myself when this is over. So, I don't know how much that threat means anything. But while this is happening, we see one of the claw marks navigating its way through the forest as Boruto and Shikamaru, I guess, get to the divine tree portion of their little conversation, as Shikamaru is surprised by the developments of the divine trees, and Boruto adds on to the terrifying nature of them that if they manage to devour him or Kawaki, that they basically will end up becoming chakra fruits. But Shikamaru seems to be concerned for everyone who's been bitten so far, because it seems a bunch of men, women, and children have been already attacked by these chakra trees. And Boruto confirms that, they're bitten, they'll still be alive. For what purpose they're alive, he's not sure yet. But Shikamaru is concerned because Boruto seems to know a lot more than he's letting on. And I'm also concerned because this seems to be a new development, but Boruto seems to be in the know on everything that's going on so far. Before we get a conclusion to that, Boruto's conversation with Shikamaru is interrupted by a transmission coming in from Kawaki. And Shikamaru's a little bit nervous that maybe he could have heard that conversation, but Ino assures him that he can't, so she patches him through, as he tells him that he's triangulated Boruto's location and they're about to attack. Shikamaru, playing both sides, tries to squash the situation before it gets too heated, but Kawaki is locked in. He tries to tell Kawaki that Boruto's definitely gotten a little too strong for him to handle, but he's not trying to hear that. But luckily for him, I think Boruto kind of picks up the message, or maybe he can hear it, I'm not really sure what's happening in his panel, and he flying Rajins out of there. As Kawaki gets closer, he kind of just notices he can't sense Boruto, and he's in range that he should be able to sense him. And if he didn't sense him, that means Boruto didn't sense him either, so he's starting to get the vibe that maybe he was tipped off, but he's not really sure, he just thinks something weird is going on. Well, we cut back to Mitsuki and Ada as they begin to have, I'm not gonna lie, like the most uninteresting conversation in the chapter, and kind of kills it for me. But I'm just gonna summarize what's happening here because it's like 7 to 8 pages long, and it's a talk about love, and I think it's just it's a little too cookie cutter for me. Long story short, Mitsuki's having confusing feelings about what is love and his identity, because he only kind of knows the artificial love because he is affected by Ada's Senrigan. And since meeting Ada, he's been kind of happy that he's been able to feel some level of love because he thought he would never feel that level of compassion. But he's also conflicted because he knows his purpose is to find his son. But in this purpose of finding his son, Boruto's kind of made him realize that he loves Kawaki. Why? I'm not sure. Maybe because he believes Kawaki's Boruto, but I'm not really sure if he loves either the person that is Kawaki or Boruto. I'm not certain about that. But Ada feels a little goofy because she's like, oh, like, do you think I'm just foolish for only searching for love? And she says she wants to talk about love, but weirdly with Boruto. Now, I don't think this is necessarily terrible. I just think it's like super long and it's a little, for me. I don't really care for this. I'm not really like anti-love in manga or anime. I just think these kind of talks seem like way too, they just seem too superficial for me. But luckily after this, we get followed up with the best part of the manga so far. And I think so far one of the best parts of Two Blue Vortex in my opinion. But we see that the Divine Trees are finally on the move for their attack as they teleport directly through one of the claw marks. And their leader, who I believe his name is Jura, takes the Hidari clone, which is the Sasuke clone, with him to straight up attack the leaf in search of Naruto. Now, Shikamaru and Ino are still reeling from what they heard. Ino's kind of wondering if we should even believe Boruto, but Shikamaru's kind of like, hey, we gotta keep this top secret till we definitively know what's the truth. But while this is happening, they get a hit up from the sensory squad that 2 ninjas have entered the village. One's chakra signature is unknown, the other one is Sasuke Uchiha, which is very interesting. Because it seems the clones not only took their appearance, but also took their chakra signature, which is very unique. It basically seems like they became that person. Because it appears even Sarada is able to pick up on his chakra signature, or maybe she just overheard the communications. But Hidari asks Jura if this is where the Ninetales location is, as he's not sure of the exact location, but he knows he's here. As some fodder ninjas pull up, and this is about to go as well as you think. Yeah, whatever you do, just don't remember any of these people's faces in a minute. Now, Shikamaru is trying to get the civilians evacuated, as Ada comes in telling him that she's sorry, she should have probably told him about this threat earlier, but yeah, the fodder ninjas got foddered, and she tells him that these are the new threats, that they're actually Ten-Tails. As Juro just ends up taking a leisurely stroll down Konoha as he runs into a bookshop, and we're not still sure who he is, but this interest in books kinda low-key has me wondering if he could potentially be Kakashi, but I think that's kind of a reach, but I know the typical guesses are he's either Jigen or Kawaki, but I'm not really sure yet. And Hidari's kinda just like, is this where Naruto is? Because, like, why are we here? As Kawaki tries to land a sneak attack on him while that's going down. But fortunate enough for Hidari, he dodges the first blow, but Kawaki does come through with a nice follow-up, sending the man flying back, as he stops to question, wait, who the hell is this? Because he thought he was Sasuke, but he's not sure who the hell or what the hell this is. But it don't even matter because the boy Jura's here, and he is pissed that he is destroying his book, so he immediately encases him into a wood release, and follows up with a mean kick, but Kawaki's a little bit better than that, so he manages to dodge and get behind him. But it's too late, because it seems like Juro was predicting that. It immediately smashes Kawaki's arm, and he is confused, he is shook, but Juro tells him, I'm not gonna kill him yet, as he sends this man flying across the battlefield. Which, funny enough, into a similar water tank from the moment Sasuke realized he's not the main character of the story. But just like that, Juro's back to business searching for Naruto, which is really odd because Kawaki's right there, and he's not looking at Kawaki, because Kawaki has him in that alternate dimension. But instead, he looks somewhere in the village as he proceeds to go forward, telling Hidari that he's close by and that he can sense him because he's also a Biju, which leads to multiple other questions because aren't the others also Bijus? Why can't they sense this chakra that he's speaking of? And also, Naruto doesn't have the tail fox, so what exactly is he sensing? Which we're going to find out in a few pages. But it seems like the Inochikacho team is on the way to help, which, I'm gonna be real, the fuck are they gonna do? But Sarada's also on the way, which she's a little bit more helpful, as she remembers the words of Boruto saying that Sasuke was absorbed by one of the chakra fruits, or chakra trees. As Jura finally touches down right in front of them, seemingly finding what he's looking for. But interestingly, what he's looking for isn't actually Naruto, but what he's sensing is Himawari? And that brings an end to the chapter, which, my god, there's a lot of questions to be had here. But before I get into the questions, let me give this an overall rating. I want to give this a 8 out of 10. It was really good chapter. This is probably one of my favorites. The only thing that's taken away from it is that long ass like conversation with Ada and Mitsuki. It was just a little too drawn out for me, and it was like more of the chapter than I would like it to be. But I won't deny there's probably some significance to it with the meaning of love and what will inevitably be Mitsuki's fate as well as Ada's fate. So I'll give it to the other readers. That just wasn't it for me, but everything else was pretty solid. I do wish that they kind of did a little bit more with the fight scenes. I kind of hate that everything sort of ended in like a big kick, and rather than like them actually going back and forth and using jutsus and using tactics. And maybe it'll be adapted better into the anime. I don't really watch too much of the anime, but from what I have seen, they do a really great adaptation of the fights, much better than the manga does. So maybe it'll be a little better there. But for me, that was a little lackluster to just see Kawaki get one-shotted again within like 3 chapters of each other. And he's supposed to be one of like the top ninjas in the village, and he's just getting bodied like left and right. It's a little underwhelming, but the implications that are left in this chapter are immense. There's so much to go on about and probably a lot to make theories on. And I might speculate myself, but hopefully I can get it out in time before the next chapter reveals all the fates and all the mysteries. Because one of the things that's very obvious because at the end of the chapter, why does Himawari have Nine-Tailed Fox chakra? Is it because she's the daughter of the Nine-Tailed Fox? Or did she actually inherit the Nine-Tailed Fox when it passed from Naruto? Because if you look into the lore, the Nine-Tailed Fox doesn't die, its chakra just gets reincarnated back into the earth, or I think back into another vessel. And what is the fixation on the Nine-Tailed Fox? Because there's 8 other tailed beasts out there, but he particularly wants Naruto. So I don't know what's up with that. And also he mentioned that him and Naruto are both Bijus, so hence he can sense them. But all the other chakra trees come from the same origin, so how come he can sense Bijus, but the others can't, which is a little odd. And the other thing is, wasn't Naruto created from a separate Biju than he was? How come he can sense Biju chakra, though he's not from the same Biju, he's not from the same tail beast that the other tail beasts were made out of? And this part isn't my theory, but it's something I've been seeing floating around online a lot, is can Boruto see into the future? Because this chapter makes me also think that he's letting on more than he should know, because this tail beast development is relatively new, but he knows like a lot about it, like a lot. And yeah, he was ruling with Jigen for a while, or not Jigen, I mean Kashin Koji. So potentially he could have explained a lot of this to him, but this is like all new developments. I couldn't have foreseen any of this coming. So I don't know how he's able to anticipate everything and break everything down. And he did mention a few chapters ago about a vicious cycle. So can he see into the future? Has he been trying to prevent an inevitable fate for the world? What is his end goal? Or what exactly does he know that he's not telling everyone else? Because Shikamaru also picked up on him knowing more than he should. And also, what is the Ina Chikacho team going to do? Because they're not that strong. I know that they've probably leveled up a little bit in the time skip, but like we've seen their heaviest hitters basically get one-shotted by these guys from a single kick. So I don't know if these guys who are just maybe Chunin level, maybe let's give them the grace to say some of them are Jonin because they're supposed to be 16 even though they look the same age. But can they go up against these guys even though we saw just a few pages in the same chapter that the Jonin got one-shotted? But who knows, Naruto or Boruto Jonin are just not what they used to be. They're severely nerfed. And last thing, what is Jura's obsession with books and knowledge all of a sudden? Is it just because he has a new awakened consciousness, he wants to just learn everything? Or is it something from his original user's essence that makes him want to learn everything he can? There is just so much to talk about in this chapter, like so much. Maybe I might make some subsequent videos talking about all those things, but I don't have a lot of time today or to record this and edit it. So I'm not going to touch on every single subject because if not, it's going to be like a 20-30 minute video because there's just so much to speculate on. But I'll see how next chapter goes, and if they haven't answered all the questions, I might just start making some new videos speculating and adding fuel to the fire. But right now, I'm super hyped. I did wish there was a little bit more to be had in this chapter, a little bit more to be shown, but I am loving where that is going right now, and I am super interested in seeing what's going to happen next chapter. And finally, Himawari finally getting some love. I'm super hyped to see that because I know she had the potential, and I mentioned in one of my other videos, I just know she didn't have it at that moment that I was talking about. If you know, you know. Go watch the video. But anyway, that's all I got to say for now. Stay safe, my ninjas, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. I've been working hard, and I need to sleep eventually, so please like and subscribe. Thanks.